Good morning, good afternoon. We have the opportunity, I hope you've been checking the pre-meeting slide loop. That's the opportunity to find out what else is going on here during the week. I want to also encourage you to see the most recent issue of the Rotary magazine, which is part of our dues. And I was interested to see that our president, Francisco Aruzo, it ends with an O, not an A. So it's it pays to pay attention to these things. I would encourage you to, as I say, take a look at what goes on here. Many times, I think I've heard people say, do you read the Moccasin Flower? We get a link. It's beautifully outlines what all is going on in our club, and it is considerable. But without checking that, you don't realize how many things we are involved in. I'm Allie Good, past president, filling in for Steve Sperling, who is on vacation. And if you hadn't heard, he is sailing in the Aegean Sea on a sailboat with his wife and friends. So I wish him safe travels and a wonderful opportunity to see the other part of the world. Each month, Rotary highlights a theme of interest for all Rotary clubs throughout the world. And the theme for October is economic and community development. This enables the Rotary organization to focus on projects that promote sustainable economic growth, create lasting economic opportunities, and foster community well-being to address poverty and empower individuals and communities. As you know, this year, President Francisco Aruzo highlights the theme, Unite for Good. Warren Harmon will lead us in the four-way test. Okay.
Yes, please join me in reciting the four-way test. Of all the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you very much.
And fifth?
And fifth, you went through these, Mortel's not here. Is it fun? Yeah. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, proud about that. It is fun.
So let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Take a seat. Our current total is $305 as we begin our journey to raise our goal of $1,000. John, are there any additional contributions from the extra $1 for lunch? I concur.
Keep adding it up. I can hear it from here.
Okay, well, let's proceed then with our happy bucks.
I'm gonna put the first couple dollars since I'm the one taking it around, and since Mark wore his Wild jersey, it did remind me today, tonight is opening day for the Wild against the St. Louis Blues, but I did not wear my Blues jersey.
Hey, how are you today? Good, good, good. I'm doing good. Watching a Rotary convention. Thank you for fixing that door.
Sorry,
I
sir.
got the back too. You all right?
My happy buck is for Vicky and I's birthday tomorrow. We share her birthday on October 10th.
Excellent. Birthdays.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, we got Mark. And a ditto, right?
I have a different perspective of that. Frank Allen now, I tell you, It's the beginning of the Wild hockey season. I'm a hockey fan. A Wild, ticket, reseller, whatever I want to say, I'm sorry. Anyway, if you can't win them all, let's win the first one. This is the year of the Wild that are hopefully gonna get out of the first round. Maybe get into the second round. If you guys follow hockey, you know what I mean, but, it's gonna be a great season. We got a superstar who is, think of this, $136 million for additional 8 years, $17 million now a year, 17 million a year. If we can't win anything this year, I'm selling my season tickets. You heard it here. I'm selling them if we don't go anywhere.
Anyone else? Oh,
Yeah.
Ron,
Very briefly, my happy buck is that I'm here.
we like to hear it. Anyone else? How about this table? Yeah, Greg, I was jumping over to Bill's table. Oh, way over here, Eldred.
Really going in here with a 5, to, just be having a good afternoon. Okay. I'll tell you next year.
All right. Blessings, all right. Anyone else?
Frank, can I give from a distance? Hello?
I think Lauren Speed is wanting to.
Hello, I want to give from a distance. I find myself out.
We put the.
Yeah, I want to give from a distance. I find myself out in, I want to give myself from a distance. I find myself out in Orange, California, and I want to give $10 for my new grandchild, Alia. So Godspeed from Orange County. Thank you guys for doing what you're doing.
Wonderful, wonderful,
Bucks.
congratulations.
I'm writing that down. Everybody know that, I'm writing that down. There we go.
10 pounds, 7 ounces, baby. That's why I got to give $10.
10 pounds, 7 ounces. That's a big baby.
$1 a pound. Dude.
$1 a pound. So I want to congratulate all our members with October birthdays. That's Mark Dripps, Terry Sorensen, Vicki Allen, John McKee, and Marilyn Stewart. And also Anniversaries, Kathy Lissard, 16 years, Jeff Peters, 3 years, and Chuck Steidinger, 12 years. So I will, I believe, do we have the sign up for October 23rd? Maybe that was something I was supposed to do. We did. Okay, great. If you want to pass that around, we want to remember to sign up. Excellent. Do you want to?
I'll just say, so we're doing a Rise and Shine for our End Polio Now event on October 25th. It's going to be at 5 different restaurants. We got Brothers, we got Canadian Hawker, Charlie's, Panakuchen, and then the VFW. The first 4 we're going to be from 7 to 11, and we need 4 1-hour shifts. We got Steve and Shelly Sperling going to do Panakuchen from 7 to 8, and we're trying to get volunteers for Panakuchen and the VFW. Vicki and I'll do the last. VFW is actually going to be from 11 to 7, so we're going to do the 5 to 7 shifts. So we need some volunteers for the other shifts, and I'll pass this around. We've got each of the restaurants are making a donation to End Polio Now for $100, and then Eagle Rock Bank is sponsoring also for $500. We've got a few private donations. So please help us out with some volunteer time. Thank you. Barry? Are all 3 clubs involved? This is the 3 club event. Okay.
Yes. Bill Wifter was inquiring if this is a 3-club event, and the answer is yes. I see Marilyn Dealing and just disappeared there. We have several people. Okay, reflection. We'll get moving here on this. I know, before we get to, I missed something. Yes, Randy Stocker will give our reflection today. I'm a little off my.
I had a good friend die this last Sunday. He's only 62 years old, died from cancer, and that got me thinking about reflection. And it's called What We Forgot to Do. Today, I want to offer reflection, not just about loss, but about the moments leading up to it. Specifically, I want to talk about what we often forget to do before someone we care about is gone. Most of us right now can think of someone we recently lost, or someone who may be nearing the end of their lives. Maybe it's a friend, colleague, family member, or a fellow Rotarian. Someone who once felt permanent in our lives, now feels painfully temporary. When someone dies, we often focus on their absence. But just before the absence comes, there's usually a moment, sometimes long, sometimes brief, where we're still able to do something, say something, be something. And so often we forget. We forget to say thank you, not just for the big things, the use of friendship, the service, the support, but for the small things, the kind words, the shared laughter, the way they showed up time and time again. We assume they know, but do they? We forget to ask the meaningful questions, the ones that don't come up in everyday conversation. What did they love most about their lives? What do they wish they'd done differently? What do they hope would carry forward after they're gone? These are questions we only think to ask when it's too late. We forget to make space, to slow down, to prioritize that visit, to send the message we've been meaning to write. We put it off, convinced there will always be more time. And then suddenly, there isn't. We forget to tell people what they mean to us, how their presence mattered, how their life touched ours in ways that may never have been realized. We forget that our words, spoken at the right time, can be a gift they carry with them, and that we carry too when they're gone. This isn't about regret, it's about remembering differently, about being more intentional now while we still have the chance. So in honor of the person you're thinking about, one who left recently, or the one who may be leaving soon, let's remember to do the things we often forget. Let's say what needs saying. Let's reach out, even if it feels awkward or overdue. Let's make time, not just excuses. Let's tell the stories, ask the questions, and share the gratitude. Because these are the things that make a life rich. And they're also the things that, when the time comes, makes saying goodbye a little less heavy and remembering a little more full. Thank you.
Very powerful. Very powerful. Thank you. I understand Marilyn Daling has a announcement she would like to make.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm here to talk about the Cradle to Career Annual Education Summit, and that is coming up, was 3 weeks from yesterday, so on Wednesday, October 29th. This year, the Education Summit is going to be at the Mayo Civic Center, and they are in need of many, many volunteers, and all 3 Rotary clubs are going to be helping with volunteering. So far from TRCR, we have 2 volunteers signed up. So I'm going to tell you which volunteer positions still have openings and urge you to think of a volunteer position that you would like to do. So first of all, before the event on October 23rd, there are 3 spots for assembling packets and name tags. So again, that is on October 23rd. It will take place at the United Way building where Cradle to Career is located. And that is from 1 to 4 p.m. on October 23rd, assembling packets. Then the rest are right on the day of Wednesday, October 29th. A really fun job. They need 5 photographer assistants to help guests with props. So they're going to have a photo booth type of thing set up and with a lot of props, and they need 5 photographers to or photographer assistants. So you don't actually have to do the photographs, but more help people with the props. So that sounds like a lot of fun. They need 1 more traffic controller spot during lunch to help direct people to different rooms. They need 3 more cleanup crew spots just for tidying up spaces during the day. They need more breakout room attendants. And there are breakout sessions both morning and afternoon, and you can choose, either one or both to help in one of the breakout rooms. They need 4 cool down and connect ushers. So this is kind of at the end of the day at about 4 o'clock when people are transitioning between places that they need some ushers for that. And then the evening session is very special this year. It's with Dr. Amit Sood, and they need 4 ushers to help with people finding seating for that evening session that I believe begins at about 5. So you can go to the Moccasin Flower, to the Cradle to Career corner in the Moccasin Flower, and click on the links. You will need to both sign up to attend the Annual Education Summit, as well as sign up to volunteer for what position or positions you're interested in. And just to know, you don't have to stay for the entire day. Just because you are signing up, for the summit, you can still, if you can only stay part of the day or even for, a very short time to do your volunteer position, that's okay. But of course, you're welcome. All of Rotary is welcome to attend. Cradle to Career is doing amazing work in our community, supporting children's brain development and education, literally from cradle to career. So this is a great way to unite for good in our community. So thanks a lot. And any questions, I'm happy to take too.
Are there any questions here for Marilyn? Thank you for all the work that you are putting into this. I will sign up for the 23rd to do the stuffing at the United Way. On the 29th, we are moving into Charter House. I think I'm going to be a little bit busy.
Thank you, Allie. And good luck with the move.
Thanks. I stopped by the Minnesota Treads this morning to meet Brock Quimby, and he had understood that he was to be here from noon to about 12:25. And I said, that isn't the way we do it. We put our meeting first and probably when I stopped by there this morning, he was there alone. So I think his wife is covering over the lunch hour, and I'm expecting him in about the next 3 or 4 minutes. But he previously owned Terra Loco. He had started that. And he subsequently sold that and opened a beautiful shop in Miracle Mile. And I stopped by there this morning, and it was everything I could do to not empty out my purse and walk off with 5 or 6 pair of shoes. But he apparently, Suzanne, you're going to enjoy this. He stopped off before he left today. He said, John Deanson came into my shop this morning and he said, Suzanne is coming to the meeting. Could you give each socks to her? So you just never know how things work. But I was really inspired. And as I say, I think we're really going to enjoy his program. Is is about what his shop does. And I think he will be here very soon. And so perhaps so that he can use the time, because I have a sense that you might want to ask some questions. The man has a real sophisticated way of measuring feet. And I'm trying to think how many of us, you know, could benefit by having our feet bark less and keep us moving well. I will check to see if toward the end of this meeting, I'm grateful that John Woodruff has, as you saw, condensed our packages so we don't have to haul around 2 large boxes of name tags. The downside to that is we have lost a lot of members, and I know we want to continue to be serving in the community and making a difference in the world. So I hope you will continue to keep your eyes out for people who would be a wonderful asset in joining our club. I did want to remind you that the White Oak Park, October 15th, we clean that up. It makes a big difference to the people who use that park. It's at 5 o'clock on October 15th. I don't know if any of you have any questions for Cheryl Mortel, who's not here today, but she is in charge of finding Strive mentors. And I know many of you have been involved in that. And they will be looking for mentors at ALC, Mayo High School, and Century. Also to let you know that registration is due by October 15th for Cradle to Career. We certainly had an excellent overview of what the mechanics are going to be for that, and the fact that it has grown. Those of you who maybe are new to Rotary may not be aware that it was really our 3 Rotary clubs that started the need, identified the need for integrating all the information with the different groups that are involved in the education, primary, secondary education in Rochester. And the mechanism is to be able to open and share data and make sure that everything is working on the level of best practices. I don't know if anyone yes, John.
Nothing about that, just park cleanup.
Cleanup.
Park cleanup, there's another Rotary that functioned that day at the same time, called Learn About the Professionals in Action Companion Club. And it's at Boulder Tap House.
Yes.
I don't know anything, that's all I know about it.
I know that we
But I
have
might go to that instead of cleaning up.
we have 2 representatives working in that space. Has anybody else been able to attend that? I think part of it is to try to cultivate a opportunity for understanding what businesses are doing in the community, as well as people who might want to be active in serving the community. And here we have, wonderful. I'd like to introduce Brock Quimby. He's got a really cool shop. I was raving about your shop this morning. So those of us who have sore feet are going to. Thank you. Appreciate your flexibility here.
Yeah, my pleasure. Hey, how's everyone doing? Mr. Johnson, I used to hang out with Mr. Johnson's daughter way back in the day, back in high school. So good to see you. Well, thank you for having me. Colin is a neighbor of mine, and he said, come and talk to everybody. And I'm excited to do that. Anytime I can talk about shoes, I'm over the moon about it. I'm kind of a shoe geek, so I'm always happy to do it. The other thing I wanted to quickly say is, I don't know that I'm going to be able to give you 30 minutes of, I don't know that you want necessarily 30 minutes of shoe talk, but I'll kind of, let's figure out, like, if you have any questions along the way, if you want to interrupt me, if you, anything you have and anything you want to talk about, I'm happy to talk. And so to start off again, my name is Brock Quimby. I grew up in Rochester. I went to John Marshall High School.
Go
Rockets. And then after that, I went to undergrad in Colorado, and I was in the Boulder area, and I got a couple of degrees, one in business and one in sociology. Business was kind of easy, and sociology was a passion. And I thought they were always really good for business. So I became a domestic violence probation officer. Great for business, and really high burnout job. So as kind of my happy place in the evening was going over to this local store in Boulder called Boulder Running Company. And it's a running store, but we always kind of said we're a running store and a whole lot more. And so really what we did and what we focused on at Boulder Running Company is fitting people. Well, I should stop. Going over to Boulder Running Company was my happy place. So the thing that was really, really important for me was like just kind of that escape and going and talking to these two guys that were from South Africa that started this new business, and they were Olympians. And so me being a shoe geek and them being shoe geeks and me needing an escape and talking to these guys and learning kind of about the business, it just became like so easy and so exciting, like that when they recognized that they were starting to grow and they needed some help, they asked me to jump in and kind of assumed a general manager position within that store. And then we proceeded to grow that footprint in Boulder to another store in Littleton, and then another store in Colorado Springs, and then the fourth store in the Denver Tech Center. And that was really exciting, and I loved doing that. But inevitably, and we had a lot of great years in the industry, fitting people properly was really what we were all about. There were a lot of tools that we used to fit people, one of which is, we perform video gain analysis. So you get people walking, even though they're running stores, the majority of people that come into a running store purchase a running shoe with no intent on ever running. So that's great. And so we always, whether it was having somebody, run or somebody walk on the treadmill and figure out what kind of a support is going to work best, we made recommendations from that. And we just picked up a lot of credibility in the industry by taking care of people and making sure that we did it right. Fast forward to Amazon kind of coming on and getting big and then getting bigger, and my two business partners were very nervous about this e-commerce behemoth that was they were always concerned about really cannibalizing our business, and so we didn't. Neither my wife nor I wanted to sell the stores, but these guys were getting closer to their retirement age, and they felt like they saw the writing on the wall. I think in hindsight, they probably were like way too soon in it, but they saw what they considered to be the writing on the wall, and they wanted to sell the stores. And my wife and I didn't have that kind of money to put in, so. We ended up selling all of our interest in the businesses as well, and then I had the opportunity to come back home and be back to Minnesota where we came from. Both my wife and I. My wife is from Richfield, so yeah, we're both home now, which is nice. And we have three kids that are one is at John Adams, and then the other two are over at Mayo High School. And like I said, I mean we're excited to be back. So in coming back, we opened a store called Terra Loco. So if you're not familiar with it, it's a store over by Trader Joe's. That was a store we had opened in 2012. And then we had some family issues in 2015 that caused us to have to sell the stores. But we knew, and we had articulated at that time that we were going to come back. And we wanted, that, so we had to kind of withstand that non-compete. I don't believe non-competes are legal anymore, but at that time we did incorporate a non-compete language into that agreement, and so we waited our time, and we just couldn't get a store open soon enough. So here we are. Minnesota Treads is at Miracle Mile Shopping Center. I bring, a significant amount of experience, and so does my wife in this industry. And like I said, I mean, we spend a lot of time in really figuring out what is the best product for an individual. We take the time, we're not a sort of that turn and burn mentality of like get them in and get them out as quickly as possible. We're not that at all. In fact, more often than not, when people come in and they try to use us as a point and click store where they just point at something and say, I want that. We try to talk them through it and figure out like, is that the right product for you? So we could be that turn and burn, but we don't want to be that store. We want to take the time and make sure we fit people properly. To the best of my knowledge, Mr. Johnson over here is wearing Adrenalines. I don't know if you're still wearing them, but you've had that shoe for a lot of years. Yeah. Three. Yeah. So, I remember that and I remember taking the time and fitting Mr. Johnson. And frankly, like that's really what it's all about for us. It's like making sure that we take the time and really, figure out what's the best for your feet. When I started in this industry, and I was telling you a little earlier, I was in Boulder, and we had a gentleman come into the store who was like 82 or 83 years old, and he ran every day. And I was just training. It was like my first or second day. And the gentleman said, I was training with somebody, and the individual went into the back room to grab some shoes, and I was sitting there just kind of chatting with the guy. And he said, so long as you do this, very stern, so long as you're selling shoes, you make sure you tell your customers that there are two things that they should never be cheap with. One is their shoes, and the other one is their bed. Because if they're not in one, they're in the other. And that really struck home with me. And I thought that's genius. And so for us, it's really always been like, even with our children, it's always been about like making sure that they have good footwear, because I genuinely believe if you have good footwear, it works its way up. It makes the whole experience a lot better when you are continuously, fitted properly. Make sure that you take care of your feet. That's just critically important. So like I said, a couple of things that we do a video gait analysis where we get people walking or running, and then we determine what's going to work best for them based on how their gait performs. But another thing we have that's been really fun, and this is kind of on that techier side, and thankfully we've had a couple of podiatrists at Mayo Clinic, both Doctors Ellman and Bondi. Dr. Ellman is the director of podiatry, and they have been referring a lot of their patients to our store because we have this device. It's a 3D foot stand. It's a free base that basically you stand on, but it's a free service that we offer. And there's 5,200 sensors in this plate, so it gives us some very intimate understanding of your foot pressure points. It gives great indicators on what type of insole is going to work best for you, and then it's all based around the algorithm of their insoles, the Atrex branded insoles, and then we take that information and we carry it over into other brands. I do not think, and I tell everyone this, I do not think that Atrex insoles are the best insoles, but I do think that they're good insoles. They're very good insoles. And Dr. Ellman refers a lot of his patients to us because he is a high believer in them. But there are a couple others that we have a lot of faith in as well. And so I think as far as insoles go, it's always critically important to try different things to see what fits and feels best in the shoes that you're wearing, kind of more of a customized fit. So that has been really nice for us because the one thing that it does that's been really important is it gives us really good information on the length, the width, the arch height, the instep height. So all of that information, pressure points, when you're standing on this plate, where's the majority of your pressure, and how do we alleviate that pressure? Whether it's on that heel bone, it's called the calcaneus, whether it's the heel bone or whether it's the metatarsals. Like where's that pressure And then what is the best way to alleviate that pressure for your best foot health? Because I genuinely believe if you have good foot health and you're able to keep going, that is critically important to your overall well-being. So that's definitely an important part of our business. I mean, I could probably stand up here and talk a lot, but I mean, and I'm open to any questions.
I had a question. You're talking about, ask Leah how long it has shoes. How long will a shoe last if we're every other day for 8 hours?
Yeah, that's great.
Could you repeat the question for the Zoom audience?
Yeah, so the question is, how long do those shoes last if you wear them every other day for 8 hours? Is that correct? So we don't really look at it that way. We really look at it as how much mileage you're putting in a shoe. And I know that might be a little bit unfair, but if you start doing a little bit of math, you can really figure out like a good pair of shoes. And again, when I say a good pair of shoes, I'm really referring more not as much dress, but because their midsoles are different. But a good pair of like running / walking shoes, you're going to get on average approximately 600 miles. So if you're wearing it every other day, I think on average, most people are going to get anywhere from 6 months to a year on a good pair of shoes. And so we also have seen through in this industry, we've seen people multiply that by 6 or 7. They wear one pair of shoes and they have them for a lot of years. I don't think, of course, I'm in the industry. I don't think that promotes the best foot health. Those shoes do break down over time. They may look okay, but oftentimes the benefits of the shoe are compromised dramatically by using them too long. So hopefully
the support is the problem that you're running into.
Right. Yeah. So it's support, whether it be so when we do an analysis, or whether it's on our Atrix device, the 3D foot scan, or we do it on a treadmill, we're really focused on keeping the individual as efficient as possible. Most people, if this is your foot, most people have a tendency to overpronate, meaning that they have a tendency to roll inward. Those arches are just not strong enough to hold weight, and they have a tendency to flex inward. So the majority of the shoes that we sell are really designed more for that support. And if you think about it, and if I had a foot form, it'd be a little bit easier. But if we could lock your foot, if we could control that foot so that it doesn't drop in, there's a subtalar joint, and what that has that tendency to drop. If we can lock that subtalar joint in a neutral position where it's not dropping inward, then from a biomechanical standpoint, now all the weight distribution is going out the foot, not the knees, not the hips, the lower back, which are things that we oftentimes see, and they're oftentimes associated with not having the right support on your feet. So, we always tell people, like, cute shoes, love it, wear them to the movies, but don't use them for walking. Don't use them for exercise, because unless that cute shoe happens to also support your foot properly, and it might. More often than not, it doesn't. Yeah. I'll start right back here. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, compare your to do on yourself, plan at the shoe store.
Yeah. So
Could you repeat it?
So he's wondering. I'm sorry.
Could you repeat?
Yes. So the question is, how do we compare what we do to the Limb Lab? If you're familiar, they're on Broadway, 2nd Street, 4th. Okay, yeah, right, 4th Street. And then I believe you're referring to Fit My Feet, which is out by the old Shopco North.
Yes.
Okay. I delivered. We recently delivered baskets to both of those people. Kind of like treat baskets. Both of them send a lot of their customers our way. So Limb Lab sends a lot of their patients our way. They don't do footwear. So oftentimes they'll create a custom orthotic. And then, and that's really more often than not, that custom orthotic is it's where a podiatrist makes a referral to them for that custom orthotic, and then it gets covered by insurance. But then they take that custom orthotic once it's designed, and they bring that to our store, and then we fit them that custom orthotic into a shoe to properly support that foot. So we're different in that regard. We have the product after they get their insole or their orthotic, then we fit them. And the nice thing is we have a lot of different widths. So we have anything from, you know, a narrow width to a very, very wide foot, which is what I fit a couple times last night. So that's how we're different than Limb Lab. As far as Fit My Feet, we've just been getting a significant amount of referral business from them. They've been sending their customers to our store, and I it may have seemed a little bit what's the word, cynical for me to drop by there and give them a nice little basket, because some of the product they have is what we have, but I don't know what's going on, frankly, but they're having a really difficult time getting product, and it's the same product that we're not having a difficult time getting. So for whatever reason, they have been referring a lot of customers our way, and we love them for it. But they do have a lot more at Fit My Feet. They do have a lot more dress, and they do focus on a little bit different type of footwear than we do. They have some of the same stuff, but yeah, by and large, theirs is going to be more kind of that brown shoe, what we call them, leather shoes and that kind of product.
Is there those fitting shoe, frameless fabric?
Well, of course, I'm biased, right? So I think our way is the best way. I think experience speaks, and they do have they have some experience on their staff for sure. There's a lady named Sue who used to work at O&B Shoes downtown, you know, for quite a long time, and she's out there. She's calling us almost daily for various product that they don't have. I think ours is, I like ours because it's more in motion. It's more getting people in motion rather than like static. I like to kind of see what's going on when you're actually, you know, using that product and from a performance standpoint. So we are different in that regard. Yeah.
You guys could bring on some children's stuff for Strawberry clothing.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. I'm very glad you asked. So that's another thing. We're always looking for opportunities in different product to bring in. And we recently with Schmidt Stride Ride store, which was over by TJ Maxx. They closed recently. They were having, you know, apparently they were having some struggles with children's footwear with tariffs because a lot of that stuff is made in China. So we are picking up that as an opportunity, as another segment. I've been working with Terry, who previously, you know, her family had owned that store for 40 years. And I've been working with her on what product was the best product. So getting an education from her on kids footwear, because we've been in this industry for a long time. We've carried kids footwear, but we didn't sell it the way that they do. And so being able to learn, always being open to learn and try new things, that was pretty exciting. So it's been a good add-on for us. And you know, we certainly in the spring, that is something that we're growing exponentially by virtue of having, you know, an opportunity for more product at that time, because there are,
Say that again.
there are you know,
Yeah, no big deal.
abilities to access that product right now are
Go ahead. A church in Orange?
One of them is
What's it called?
wide toe box shoes.
yeah, a lot of them. There's two brands specifically that the industry really likes because they kind of label them as like anatomically correct. Because if you look at most shoes and the shoes come to a point, your feet don't come to a point. So it's a little bit weird that shoes do, but it's cute. So yeah, we carry a lot of wide toe box shoes, but two in particular that the industry really likes, and that we get a lot of referrals again from Doctors Elman and Bondi. Topo, a great brand that a lot of people haven't heard of. The cool thing is, like, I'm not only am I a shoe geek, but I'm also kind of an industry geek, and I'm always looking at numbers, and Topo, is one of our top brands at our store. Like when I say one of our top brands, one of our top 3, and they, just cracked the top 10, nationally, which I for the first time recently, which is pretty exciting to see that growth. And I had the founder of Topo, his name is Tony Post, reached out to me and asked me, what are you guys doing? Because like we were selling a lot of it. And I said, we have a good relationship with the medical community, and that's imperative to helping sell that product, but also pulling the product and getting it on people's feet. It's amazing how it doesn't have to be a wide shoe, but that toe box and allowing those toes to display is super critical. So yeah, we have a whole lot of wide toe box shoes. Was there a second part to that?
Yeah, second part was with social media, you see a lot of advertising, different shoes, ridiculously priced.
Yeah.
How do you compete against that, or what's to say about don't go that route?
Yeah, so the question is, how do you compete with social media on the significant quantity of product that's on the market? And what's interesting is, again, having been in this industry for north of 20 years, I've seen so many products come and go. You know, there's a brand that we brought in Boulder in 2009. We brought them in, and we all knew that brand wasn't going to last long. We were confident because it was one of those, we wanted to give them a chance because they were two smart shoe people from France, and they were executives at Salomon. You know, and most people may know Salomon as like a ski brand, but Salomon makes a lot of shoes. And these two guys, their names were Nico and Jean-Luc, Nicolas Mermoud and Jean-Luc. They came to us and they had this idea. They had some prototypes of these shoes, and we were like, it was at the wrong time. It just didn't feel right because everything, the whole industry was like minimal. But we said, we're going to give you guys a chance. We brought them in. That's Hoka. So we were the first store in the country to carry the brand called Hoka. And if you haven't heard of them, it's a big deal. And so that was really exciting to be a part of that and to help them, you know, really pioneer their brand in our stores. And so they tell the story both on Hoka.com on their website. And then I try to do a little bit of I try to tell the story on our Minnesota MNTreads.com, our website, about like how we didn't come up with the idea, but we certainly helped them make it a big deal. So it's exciting, and I love that. Like I said, I've seen a lot of them come and go. I see a lot. I mean, when you're on social media, it is constant. If you're looking up shoes, you see a significant amount of new shoes constantly flooding the market, and some are good. And some, unfortunately, are really good. They never get a chance. It gets squeezed out by the big guys. You know, and that happens a lot. So there's a brand that I just recently brought in because I feel like they could be the next Hoka, or they may be a bust. I don't know. I did sell a pair right before I came here this morning. It's called Mount to Coast. I don't love the name. I really don't. I like a shoe brand with Mount to Coast. It doesn't feel right when everything is Nike, Saucony, Asics, Brooks, Hoka, Mount to Coast. But I told them I don't love the name, but I love the design, and I think they have an opportunity to become, dare I say, the next Hoka. They're picking up a lot of credibility. It's fun. So again, for me, I mean, most of you are probably like, shoes, don't care. I get it, but I do, you know, so it's my passion, and I'm happy to share it with you. Yes.
Amazon affecting your business today?
It's not. So there's this term in our industry called showrooming. I don't know if you've heard it, but showrooming is where people come into the store, they try, they get our expertise, we spend 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour or more. We really work hard to find the perfect shoe for them. And then they're like, okay, well, I'll think about it, and they leave. And so we're not cynical about that, because we know, like, we genuinely are never selling our shoes for more than anybody else is. And if we find out that we always match prices. So that's important to know, but we do spend the time, we take the time to make sure that we fit them properly. And if they want to think about it, we do want to leave them with, like, if you find it, because we're not dumb. We know that they're probably going to look it up. They want to look it up and they want to figure out if they can get a better price. Hopefully it's not $5. Hopefully they don't buy it online for, but if they find a better price, we let them know as they're leaving, like, if you find a better price, we'll match prices. We're locally owned. I think that's important. So I hope it's important to most people. It's not to everybody, and I get that, but Amazon really hasn't affected us. Our growth has been, it's been really exciting. And then always the cool thing about being small, small and locally owned, is that we can pivot on a dime. So when we find that there's a product that we need, a product that our customers are asking for, if there's something that we feel like we're missing, we work hard to get it. So it may be affecting us maybe a little bit, but the nice thing is, because Amazon owns Zappos. So the nice, but even they are, there's a lot of information out there about Zappos is they're getting eaten alive by free shipping to, and then free shipping back. And so people are purchasing multiple pairs of shoes, and then they're either sending all of them back or most of them back. And that's costing them a lot of money in shipping. So they can probably do it, because apparently this Bezos guy has some money. I don't know. That's what I've heard. Rumors. Yes.
When I was growing up, we used to put on Broadway and go to the shoe store, and you look at the machine where you could put your foot in and look through the thing and see your X-ray vision. Does anybody use those anymore?
No, but somebody asked me about that recently. What store was that? Do you know? Was it Al's?
O&B?
Was it O&B?
I think it was O&B.
Well, they didn't have that. They weren't using that, like, up until recently. Someone came in, maybe it was we get a lot of physicians coming in the store, and maybe it was a physician who had mentioned that had said something about that, and thought, like, oh, it'd be really cool if you could get that. But then in the same breath, he also said, but I don't know how that did for people with radiation.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good. Well, there you have it. So yeah, we don't do that. But I do think, like, when we were building out our store over at Miracle Mile, and like I said, having grown up here, I've seen that whole thing change many, many times. I remember Lyle at the Mile. Just all those, and I always, like, try to, I'm that guy. Like, I love those stories. And I saw, when we were negotiating our lease, I saw a big red owl. When Red Owl was there, and I asked them if I could purchase it, and they were like, "We just give it to you." And I was like, "Well, great, but can I take it now?" And they're like, "Well, you can't take it yet." And then when we went back, like several months later, it was gone, and they have no idea where it is. So if anyone has it,
They're highly collectible.
yeah, I'm not at all surprised. That's why I was like, "Oh, have it? Really? I'd rather pay for it so you can't get talked into it from somebody else." But yeah. And when we opened the store, before, like several days before we opened the store and we were staging it, we were moving things around. I think the mall, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it opened in like 1954. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
It was, I know it was anyway, I did look it up. It is something you can search. I looked it up, and then I thought, what a great thing to do. Like, before we were open, we had our speakers kind of set up in the store, and I'm staging it and moving things around and, like, working, 19 hours a day, 20 hours a day. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to just play, like, the #1 songs from the year that this Miracle Mile opened, just to make sure that the spirits accept us. And so I didn't know a lot of those songs. Some of them I'd heard, but it was kind of fun to just be running around listening to that music and you know, just that's who I am. Any other? Yeah.
I'm loaded over here. Two simple questions. One, what are your hours? And the other one is, do socks make a difference with your feet?
What are our hours and do socks make a difference? Our hours are Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday from 10 to 5, and Sundays from 12 to 4. And yes, socks make a big difference. You know, in the industry, we've always kind of said that, you know, probably heard it before, cotton is rotten. Cotton retains moisture. Cotton is the #1 reason that people get blisters. Cotton is a big reason why people are walking and their feet hurt and it just bothers them because they've rubbed a blister. And a good sock, anyone who wears good socks knows that a good sock is worth the money you pay for it. They wick moisture very well. They keep your feet dry. They dry very quickly when you're sweating. Your feet are going to sweat. And those socks are a good pair of socks. It just feels amazing every time you put it back on. And they even make, sorry, I know, they even make like anatomically correct socks. I don't know how that, I always question that. But they say, well, we stitch them in such a way that it's curved the way your foot is curved. Okay, but that's a good selling point, right? It gives that sock a little bit more value. Anyway.
I just want to, at the closing here.
Yeah.
I'm Suzanne Venison and I met you.
Oh, yeah.
You spoke at some of your runs that happened, this Rochester Running Club, and it's been around forever. And people get awards, they have a recognition at the end of the year or end of the season. And people get prizes for different running events that they've been in, and some of them calculate a lot, you know, they've been in every event that took place in Rochester and area. Well, we were just starting a business, you were the speaker, and it was so generous. He was giving, because they get gifts, and you know, it's a big deal for the committee to go out and ask for gifts to give to runs for completing it, you know, 5 runs or whatever. And you had, I mean, you were in business, and you must have given me 90% of the gifts away for everybody. And I remember going up and talking to them because I had taught retailing at the college, and I said, "You're going to be a success."
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Gonna piggyback on that.
Oh.
Just a quick look at your Facebook page.
Yeah.
Very generous in our community. With the different things you do. You have a 5K coming up.
Yeah.
For Auto Bridge Church.
Yeah.
Army. Like, look at their Facebook page. Super giving in our community.
Yeah, thank you. That's really important for us. Really is.
That gives me goosebumps. Thank you, Brian.
thank
That was really awesome. That was really awesome. So I thank you to all participants and volunteers for today's program. Sergeant at Arms John Woodruff, meal facilitator Don Mayer, 4-way test Warren Harmon, reflection Randy Stocker, greeter was not here, Fred Suler. I'm not sure. No, he didn't come. I hope he's okay. Happy Bucks Frank Allen, introductions Warren Harmon, AV and tech support, our magical, wonderful volunteer secretary Joseph, and speaker Rock Quimby. And I would like to remind all Rotarians to go forth into the world and unite for good. We are adjourned.